Hello, everybody, and welcome into Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. Coming to you from the Sports Interaction Studio, I'm your host, Nicholas Palaylog.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle, and today we are going to break down what happened last night, the atrocities that happened with John Schneider, decision-making with that bullpen. We're going to break down whether it was the great move that he should have made or whether it was a bad move. I bet you can guess which one I'm feeling right now and where I'm leaning. And also, what other moves could he have made to possibly save the game for the Blue Jays? Before we get into it, please make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Also, hit that hype button to help push this video to other Blue Jay fans who might not be aware of the decisions that happened last night. Obviously, I'm still reeling after what happened last night. I took a good night's sleep, and I still feel like what John Schneider did last night was not a great decision by any means. You go into a one-run ball game in the 8th inning, and you bring out arguably one of your worst bullpen guys in to face their best guys, Kyle Raleigh, Polanco, and Josh Naylor. And the base of this decision, and we've seen John Schneider do this every single game of every single, all year, every year he's ever been a manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to go with a lefty to either flip around the switch hitters or to face other lefties. I don't care what quality hitter they are. I don't care what quality lefty I have in my bullpen. That's the decision that I'm going to make, and he lives and dies by it. But obviously, it blew up in our face yesterday.
He likes his matchups for better or for worse, and yesterday was definitely for worse, everybody. Flashing over to that box score, final score was 6-2, but to be completely honest with you, it felt like a much tighter ball game than that because it was for pretty much the entirety of that ball game, right? Toronto was actually leading that thing 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th, and you were thinking to yourself, I was thinking to myself too, it's like we just gotta escape this 8th inning because that was the inning where it was Cal Raleigh, it was Randy, it was Suarez, it was all of the big boys, right? They were coming up here, and you thought to yourself, or at least I was thinking to myself, okay, if we can make it through this inning right here, this meat of the lineup with that one-run lead, well then, you're starting off next inning and you got Canzone and Rivas. I'm feeling pretty good at that point. But you would expect against their big dogs, you throw in your big dog. And what's so, I guess, frustrating for me, and there were other reasons why the Toronto Blue Jays lost this game. We're going to get to that a little bit later, because, again, it's not all on this one decision, even though it was a bad one. There was other stuff. But what's so frustrating to me is that the game prior, John Schneider came out and he brought in Jeff Hoffman earlier in the game than he typically does. And it was against the good hitters of that Seattle Mariners lineup because he was thinking, okay, we got to stop the momentum right now. I really want to get these guys out here. And Hoffman came out and he threw an inning and he actually looked good. And I know that I am, somebody that's been outspoken about Jeff Hoffman. I'm worried about what he could do. But yesterday, against the same guys, he looked good. And you'd expect that in that 8th inning, when you are nursing a one-run lead, so very much a safe situation, even though we're not in the 9th yet, very much still a game that you want to close out against the big dogs of the Seattle Mariners, you'd expect that your big dog is also going to come out.
Yeah, and what doesn't make any sense is they were both ready to go. Like, I can understand if you went back-to-back games, and that's the reason why it was Little and not Fluharty, because Fluharty was back-to-back games. He's arguably right now our better lefty option. I can understand if it was back-to-back games that Dominguez and Jeff Hoffman have thrown in this series, but also it's also the playoffs. So frick it, go 3 in a row. We need to win this game right now. But they didn't. They only threw in Thursday's game, both of them, and then they haven't thrown since the Sunday, right? Obviously here, Dominguez threw 16 yesterday because he came in to clean up after Brendan Little. So really, it doesn't make any sense when you have a one-run ball game, more critical situation, you go with the lesser guy, and then you go and you don't go with your big dogs in a critical situation. But you throw them out in a game where it was up by 6, it doesn't make any sense. Now, John Schneider came out and he tried to defend his decision. Shout out to King Masson here. When asked John Schneider why he turned to Little in the 8th and not Hoffman or Dominguez in that situation, John Schneider says he wanted to make that part of the lineup, quote, see different guys. He reiterated that Little has been one of their best pitchers and that he'll continue to trust his guys. Now, Obviously, he's not going to come on here and outs his dudes and make Brendan Little look bad because he already is feeling terrible. I mean, his post-game interview was, it pulls on the heartstrings. He feels absolutely gutted.
And I want to be clear, too. Yeah. This isn't a hit job on Brendan Little. This isn't Brendan Little's capacity.
No.
Because, you know what? Like, I do feel genuinely bad for the guy as well. I mean, you came in and you didn't record an out. Like, he's obviously going to be going through it, and he's not immune to the social media that is just happening right now. I'm sure that he has seen some of the commentary, and some of it's not great. So this isn't a hit job on him, or not trying to be.
It's not his fault. Like, genuinely, it's not his fault. Like, you made a joke yesterday. You could throw us out there in the 8th inning. We'd do the same result. Not, no offense to Brendan Little, but like,
it's like, he didn't get an out. We probably would have done the same route.
We wouldn't have gotten out either, right? Yes. We probably would have gave up some home runs. But the problem is John Schneider making the decision to put him in that spot. That's where my issue lies right here. So obviously, he's defending his dudes with this quote. I mean, you could really go in deep into like see different guys. I mean, that's just BS. Like, you're not here to see different guys. You're here to win the effing ball game. So he doesn't go in that route. And then to further hammer home the point, I mean, yeah, Brendan Little has not been one of your best guys. He has an ERA of 6.08 and a whip of 1.88 over his last 21 appearances. And I freaked out last night. I don't know how you don't know that and recognize that and ignore the fact that you want to flip over Raleigh and Polanco to the right side, but which, mind you, Raleigh still has hit 20 homers from the right side in the regular season in less at-bats, mind you. And then Polanco, who's been a switch hitter his whole career. Like, you're up against 2 righties and 1 lefty and Josh Naylor. There's no advantage here, John Schneider. And then coupled with the fact that he's got terrible walk rates in his last 21 appearances, it's a no-brainer to not pitch him here.
He made a mistake. I mean, like, ultimately, John Schneider and Pete Walker and all the guys that were, coming to terms with this decision, they all made a mistake on this one. This was definitely something that you cannot do, especially in the 8th inning against a team like the Mariners, where solo home runs, they can kind of just do it at will. And then also, too, I mean, like, we saw a solo homer and then we saw a grand slammy after the fact.
2 walks and a hit by pitch, and
that's all she wrote, right? And that was on Sir Anthony Dominguez coming in and giving that up. But ultimately, like, he inherited a pretty bad situation right there. So, I mean, you can't really put too much on him either. They made a big mistake there. Brendan Little never should have been in that ball game. Granted, and I alluded to this earlier, that's not the whole reason why we lost this ball game. Obviously, that had the biggest swing in win probability, just because you had the lead and then you didn't have the lead, and it was at late in the ball game as well. And a lot of people have been talking about how, well, if you were going to bring Brendan Little in, maybe you bring him in earlier in the game. I tend to agree with that as well, but
I agree.
I mean, it happened. It was a mistake, so we can all kind of pinpoint that and go, big mistake right there. However, we've been saying for a long period of time here on Blue Jays Today that when the Toronto Blue Jays win, or if they are going to win, they got to have that lineup come up clutch. And let's call a spade a spade. They don't win 2-1 ball games. That's just not the 2025 Toronto Blue Jays way of doing things. That's like the 2023 Toronto Blue Jays way of doing things. When we were popping off in 2023, we won games 2-1 and in a pitching duel. This season, that's just not how this team operates. So as much as we have to put a bunch of blame here on John Schneider and that decision, and I do think that the biggest blame goes to him. The secondary for me is the offense and not being able to put up more runs, especially when earlier in the ball game you had the exact same situation that Suarez had, which was bases loaded, nobody out, and instead of hitting a grand slam, you got 0.
We got to put a little bit of blame on Don Varsho in this series. He's not had a good series. I believe he's like 2 for 19 or 2 for 20 or something like that. But the 2 hits he had were very clutch moments, so it kind of clouds your perception of this ALCS. But he's been striking out a lot. And as you can see right here, excuse me, we had a win probability of 58.7% when he was up to the plate in the 4th inning, down by 1 with nobody out and bases juiced. Striking out drops it down 8.6% down to 50 basically, 50.1%. And then total misfortune here, completely unlucky. Ernie Clement hits a dribbler that rolls back into the glove of Kyle Raleigh. He gets it before it crosses over the foul line, steps on home plate. throws it over the first. That dropped it down to 19.1%. Dropped it down 19.1%, down to 31% chance of the probability of the Blue Jays winning. So it was a incredible, massive swing right there. They didn't get it done. They had many more opportunities just like this throughout the game. This was obviously the biggest one. So yeah, you're right. The Blue Jays don't win this game 2-1 very often, but it's, again, I want to hammer home one more time. You also look at the swing probability right here in the bottom of the eighth, that rally homer, plus 30%. Like, that is a massive swing. And then, of course, you don't need me to show you this. That hit by pitch by Randy up to 11.4 and then up 12.1% to 98.9%. So, like, going from 30% chance of winning, basically, all the way up to 98, that's where the massive swing comes in.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're late in the ball game, too, there's just no chance for the offense to respond. And then I'm pretty sure it was a 3-up, 3-down real quick in the top of the ninth, because let's face it, probably they were all just shell-shocked at that given juncture of time. So where does this leave the Toronto Blue Jays? We took 2 out of Seattle, and zooming out, honestly, I am very grateful for how they performed in Seattle. When we were walking in to that, mini little 3-game series over there, we were saying, you got to win 2. And they did do that. They did win 2. To lose that game, to lose the final game in that capacity, it doesn't feel great, because one thing we didn't even bring up either, George Springer took a big ball off of his knee. That's not good. And then also, too, the way that you lost that game, that's one that it's going to be tough to shake off if you're the Toronto Blue Jays. But they are going to have to do that. They get today off, and then they're coming back to Toronto. And if they want a chance at seeing the Dodgers in the World Series, they are not allowed any more screw-ups by John Schneider or missed opportunities with the bases loaded, nobody out. There is zero room for error at this point. I still have faith that this team can do it, because we've seen them do it when their backs are up against the wall, and I still do truly believe, I'm actually not even bullshitting you right now, I do still believe that we are going to be able to do this, but you've left yourself zero room for error.
There's no more room for error, and if I'm John Schneider, I better have learned my lesson that I can't put Brandon Little in a critical moment. No, seriously, like, it's do or die now. You can't play Brandon Little anymore. That's a lesson you've learned. If Brandon Little's out there, well, clearly we haven't learned our lesson.
We're probably not going to the World Series.
No, we're not. But to your point, the Blue Jays feel the same way right now. Ernie Clement came out and said it's right where we want to be. That was our goal coming into here, to get back to Toronto. And it was. When you're down 0-2, you had to win that mini 3-game series in Seattle to get back to Toronto. Obviously, we wanted to win the game, or wanted this game to go a little different. But I think we're in a great spot. I say we're in a great spot. We've got a chance, and that's all we need. Now, let's take a look at those games that are coming up. Hopefully those games, because that means we would have won Game 6 right here. You got Trey Savage up against, presumably, it's going to be Logan Gilbert, who's lined up right now. Blue Jays were able to get to Logan Gilbert just a little bit. We ended up winning that game, but Trey Savage had a bit of a rocky start. What are your thoughts about Trey Savage, the young rook in his 6th Major League start ever, with a chance to save the Blue Jays season right now?
I mean, I trust you, Savage, and ultimately, I trust the offense a lot here. Like, for whatever reason, this team, this Toronto Blue Jays team, and this is definitely the bias in me coming out a bit, but I do think that there's actually legitimate truth to this. When their backs are up against the wall, for whatever reason, that's when you see all of the X factors just start
comeback
going.
Kids.
It's a real thing, right? Like, they've been doing it all season long. We've seen it, at the end of the season, the regular season, when the Yankees were like knocking on the door and the Blue Jays were fumbling, and then they woke up again right as they needed to, like, with literal zero time between, or no room for error there as well. They were capable of doing that and holding on to the division. We've seen it time and time again, in smaller sample sizes, and just literal one game, like games here and there, like throughout the season, comeback, having all of these comebacks all the time. So I do believe in Trey Savage, and I do believe in this offense. I also think as well, like, yes, Trey is the starter, and you're going to want him to go as deep as possible. But when your backs are quite literally up against the ropes right here, when you're on the back foot like this, all roles don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Well, take it in. We didn't even see Chris Bassett at all in the Mariners series.
You probably will, right? Yeah. Like, if he runs into any type of trouble of any kind, whether it's the first inning or the 5th inning, anyone can come out at any time. The only person who can't come out in Game 6, I think, is Brennan Little and Kevin Gausman. Those are literally the only two guys.
Well, that's why Game 6 probably not. But funny enough, and shout out to Kevin Gausman for being an absolute dog. He said that he'll be cleated up and ready to go in the Blue Jays bullpen for potential Game 7. Yeah, like even if he's ready to go throw one inning for
that's
us,
it.
I'm okay with
all
it.
roles are thrown out the window now.
Win or lose, right? Win or go home. Everyone's available right now, and I'm with you. Like, it's crazy to say that I put my faith in a guy who's only pitched 5 major league outings, right? It's crazy, but he's got the wipeout stuff. He didn't really have it in the first inning against Mariners, but then he started to lock it down. And then obviously he got in a little bit of trouble. I think he gave up a hit and then a walk, and then he got hooked, and those 2 runs came around to score. Forget who came in after him to give up those runs. But, 5 earned runs in 4 innings obviously looks bad, but I do have faith that he can turn it around and have a better outing. And I do have faith as well. The Blue Jays do play well at home. I know they didn't play great in the first 2 games against the Mariners. This is different. You were feeling high and mighty going into those game 1 and 2. You thought you had the advantage over Seattle Mariners. Well, they just punched you in the freaking teeth.
Yeah.
And now you said your back's up against the wall. I think I've got faith for them to win Game 6, and then Game 7, we'll have to do a whole other prediction because God only knows who's going to be coming out in that game.
I'll tell you what, I think the most important thing right now is to shake this one off, because whilst we are all frustrated and screaming on social media, they're also feeling it as well, right? And Brendan Little, I can't even imagine what he's going through mentally right now. And you have to imagine, like, as teammates to somebody like that, watching your teammate go through that, let's face it, they're all friends, right? Like, that's going to be affecting them as well. And that's not even factoring in that we don't know what's going on with George Springer. That did not sound good when it came off of his knee.
He was like limping around and trying to jog. So we'll see what the update is, but I'm hoping it's just like a contusion.
Yes, and me as well, right? Because you got to have him in the lineup. That is a really tough game to shake off. If they are capable of throwing that one in the trash can, leaving it in the past, and coming back to Toronto and still feeling confident, I actually feel really good about our chances to go to the World Series. I believe that we can do this.
I think if we win Game 1, we got a shot.
Of course.
We got like a better shot than not, because again, like the momentum is real here.
Yeah, I genuinely still truly believe that they can do this. I do think that you need to, every single one of them, have a mental reset, because yesterday, that was a fucking dagger, and I can imagine it is going to be affecting all of you. You have to leave that one in the past. You got to come into Toronto feeling confident.
Well, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm sure you guys have quite a lot, so let it be known. This is a safe space, little therapy session here for everybody. We're going to obviously be doing no live stream tonight, no game, but tomorrow, I believe the game's at 8, so we'll be live around 7:30 for our pregame show. We want to watch that game with you, and hopefully we get a W, because we're going to need it.
Yes, of course. Please hit that like, smash that subscribe button, the hype button as well if you have access to it. $4 a month can be a YouTube membership. And thank you to all of our current YouTube members. You guys are amazing.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And as always,
Go Jays, go!